Foundation of positive thinking in Buddhism. Buddhism teaches, with the mind, we create the world. This means the world you experience reflects how you perceive and think about it. The mind is the root. When your mind is clear, the world appears bright. When your mind is confused, the world seems full of suffering. So, what does Buddhism mean by positive thinking? It is not about forcing yourself to feel fake happiness, nor about ignoring pain or difficulties. It is about training the mind to see reality clearly without clinging or denial, and nurturing an inner state that is stable, accepting, and grounded in the present moment. The basis of this way of thinking lies in karma and mental conditioning. Every thought you generate is like planting a seed in the soil of consciousness. If you repeatedly think in negative, angry, or fearful ways, those seeds will take root and form habits. On the other hand, if you regularly sow seeds of gratitude, compassion, and understanding, these qualities will naturally grow within you. The Buddha taught about right thought, one element of the Noble Eightfold Path, as a compass for the mind. Right thought guides the mind toward loving kindness, renunciation, 10. Wisdom. When we let go of self-centered worries and open our hearts to the world around us, we no longer see life as a battlefield, but as a web of interconnectedness and transformation. One practical way to build the foundation of positive thinking is through mindfulness sati. With mindfulness, we become clearly aware of what's happening in our minds and gently guide our thoughts away from negative spirals. Cultivating mindfulness to refresh the mind. In Buddhism, mindfulness or sati is the key to awakening. It is the ability to be fully aware and present with what is happening within the body, the mind, and the surrounding environment without being swept away by emotions or automatic reactions. Why is mindfulness essential for transforming our thinking? Because most of our suffering doesn't come from external events, but from the mind itself when it clings to the past or worries about the future. When we are not rooted in the present moment, the mind tends to replay old pains or invent frightening future scenarios, creating a loop of anxiety and negativity. Mindfulness is how we slow the momentum of the mind, bringing it back to the present, the only place where life truly happens. A simple yet powerful practice is anapanasati, or mindfulness of breathing. When you focus on each inhale and exhale, you are training your mind to return to reality. Each time you notice yourself caught in negative thoughts, anxiety, or anger, gently come back to the breath. This is an act of compassion toward yourself. Another essential practice is metta bhavana, or loving kindness meditation. Through metta, you learn to generate goodwill and love not just toward others, but also toward yourself. This doesn't mean ignoring life's problems, but rather approaching them with a balanced, soft, and non-reactive mind. Rebuilding life from within. One of the Buddha's most profound teachings is, with our thoughts, we make the world. This doesn't mean you can control everything that happens in life, but you can control how you respond, how you perceive, and what kind of inner world you maintain amidst life's unpredictability. When your mind is filled with gratitude, patience, and wisdom, you will see that life reflects these same qualities. Even if the outer world is chaotic, your inner world can remain a place of peace. Positive thinking in Buddhism is not about superficial motivation or blind optimism. It is a path of mental training, a discipline that helps you stay clear, steady, and unshaken by external conditions. It is a mindful journey, a way of living with an open heart and with the deep understanding that you are the creator of your life through every thought, every breath, and every present moment. Mastering emotions with mindful wisdom. In life, our emotions often take the lead. When we're happy, we feel excited. When we're sad, we feel hopeless. When we're angry, we want to explode. And when we're afraid, we just want to run away. But is there a way to not be controlled by emotions and instead respond with clarity, compassion, and peace? Buddhism teaches us emotions are not enemies, they are teachers. We don't need to destroy our emotions. What we need is to look deeply into them, understand their roots, and meet them with mindfulness. Mindfulness allows us to see clearly the moment an emotion arises, whether it's anger, sadness, jealousy, or anxiety. And once we recognize the emotion as it arises, we are no longer its victim. We don't let it dictate our actions, we become a mindful observer. Instead of yelling when angry, we breathe in and out. Instead of reacting immediately when hurt, we pause and recognize the feeling. Instead of judging, we learn to accept emotions as messengers in need of listening. When we practice this way, emotions gradually settle, and in that stillness, wisdom arises not from avoiding emotions, but from deeply understanding what they are, where they come from, and what they're trying to tell us. For example, when we're angry, it might be because we've been hurt. When we're jealous, it may be because we feel unloved or unworthy. When we're anxious, it could be that we've lost trust in ourselves. Mindfulness and insight allow us to see this clearly, and from that understanding, we can transform our emotions into compassion, empathy, and inner healing. Transforming suffering into seeds of awakening. Suffering is a part of life, we can't escape it. But what matters most is, how do we face our suffering? Buddhism does not teach us to avoid pain. In fact, the Buddha's first noble truth is, there is suffering. Yet he also taught, suffering can be transformed. Positive thinking in Buddhism is not about pretending to be happy or denying pain. It is about learning to face suffering with an open heart and clear mind. For example, when you fail at something, rather than blaming yourself or falling into despair, you can ask, what can I learn from this failure? What opportunity is hidden in this challenge? How can I grow stronger through this experience? These kinds of questions open the door to transformation. When suffering is met with mindfulness and wisdom, it becomes a living teaching, a fertile ground to grow patience, compassion, and deep understanding. Some may say, I'm suffering too much, how can I think positively? And the Buddha might answer, you don't have to wait until the suffering ends to be at peace. Even within the pain, you can still recognize small rays of light. You may be grieving a loss, but you still have your breath. You may feel broken, but there's still someone by your side. You may be lost, but you still have the power to return to yourself. You still have the chance to begin again right here, right now. This is true positive thinking in the Buddhist sense, not shallow optimism, but a deep, compassionate clarity born from wisdom. Positive thinking and the healing power of speech. Our thinking often shows up most clearly through our words. What we carry in our mind spills out through our speech, and speech, when used mindfully, can become a medicine. It can bring peace, hope, and healing. Buddhism calls this right speech one of the Eightfold Path elements. Right speech means speaking truthfully, kindly, and with the intention to bring understanding and harmony. When our mind is positive, our words will reflect that. A kind word at the right time can save someone from despair. A gentle question can calm the fire of anger in someone's heart. A sincere apology can mend even deep wounds. But when our mind is full of bitterness, envy, or anger, our words become weapons. And the first person to suffer from our toxic speech is ourselves. Because before we say it out loud, those negative thoughts have already soaked into our consciousness. We can start training our minds and speech in positive thinking with simple shifts. Each morning, instead of saying another exhausting day, try, today is a fresh chance to live with purpose. When someone makes a mistake, instead of why are you so dumb, try, it's okay. Everyone messes up. Next time will be better. With yourself, instead of saying I'm such a failure, try, I'm learning to be stronger every day. Language is a mirror of the heart. When we shift our thoughts from fear to love, our words change. And when positive speech flows through us, the world around us starts to shift as well. Underscore, positive thinking in relationships, planting seeds of harmony. Life isn't just about our relationship with ourselves, it's also about how we connect with others, family, friends, co-workers, and even strangers. So how can positive thinking help us build more meaningful, harmonious, and lasting relationships? First, we must understand everyone carries wounds. Some people hide them well, others wear them on the surface. When we practice positive thinking through the lens of Buddhist wisdom, we begin to see others with eyes of compassion instead of judgment, doubt, or competition. For example, when your partner snaps at you, instead of reacting, you can ask, are they overwhelmed with stress and unable to express it? When your child makes a mistake, instead of yelling, you can see it as a chance to guide them with love and patience. When a colleague becomes competitive, instead of feeling envious, you can stay balanced and not get pulled into the negativity. Positive thinking doesn't mean staying silent or being weak. It means responding with wisdom from mindfulness, not from ego. There's a beautiful teaching from the Zen tradition. Always give people one more chance to show you their better self. Maybe they hurt you yesterday, but today, if you see them with fresh eyes, you might notice a different version of them emerging. And that shift isn't just good for them, it frees you from the burden of resentment, heaviness, and blame. When you plant seeds of forgiveness, listening, respect, and empathy in your relationships, you're building an environment that nurtures positive thinking. And in time, you'll realize you don't have to try so hard to be loved. Just love others with a mindful heart and love will naturally bloom. A positive thinking helps you overcome the pressures of modern life and work. Modern life feels like an endless race. Work pressures, looming deadlines, financial worries, family responsibilities. All of it crashes down on our minds like wave after wave. Many people feel like they're living without being able to breathe. In these moments, positive thinking inspired by Buddhist wisdom is not a shallow escape, it's a practical path to find calm in the midst of chaos. When our minds are caught in anxiety, we tend to perceive things as far worse than they actually are, and an answered email turns into a looming threat. A minor critique feels like total failure, but when we return to ourselves and mindfully observe our emotions, we can break free from that negative spiral. The Buddha said, "There is no enemy more dangerous than an untamed mind," and that taming begins with choosing to see things with awareness and positivity. For example, instead of asking, "Why is life so unfair to me?" try shifting it to, "What can I learn from this challenge?" Or when you're overworked and feeling drained, take a moment to breathe deeply and remind yourself, "I'm not a machine. I'm doing my best and I deserve care." These small practices can help you shift your perspective from blame to understanding, from burnout to self-compassion. Additionally, just a few minutes of mindful meditation each day can renew your mental energy, reduce stress, and increase focus and clarity in your work. Positive thinking doesn't magically eliminate all your tasks, but it allows you to face challenges with a steadier heart, a lighter spirit, and greater kindness, especially toward yourself. Underscore, cultivating confidence and inner peace through meditation and understanding. One of the biggest obstacles to living positively is self-doubt, feeling insecure, afraid of making mistakes, and constantly fearing judgment. Have you ever heard thoughts in your head like, "I'm not good enough, others are better than me. I don't deserve happiness"? These quiet but persistent thoughts often stem from early life experiences, words we heard, wounds we received, and messages we absorbed. Over time, they plant seeds of negativity that shape the way we see ourselves. Buddhism sees this clearly. The Buddha didn't ask us to become someone else. He simply taught us to return to our true nature, calm, resilient, and complete just as we are. One of the most powerful ways to build the inner confidence is through meditation, especially loving kindness meditation, known as metta bhavana. As you sit quietly and gently breathe, you can offer yourself heartfelt wishes like, "May I be happy, may I be at peace, may I learn to love and forgive myself." With each practice, you nourish your spirit with seeds of positivity. You begin to rebuild confidence from within, no longer chasing approval from the outside. And as you deepen your understanding of impermanence, you're less afraid of failure as you embrace the truth of knowing self. You stop tying your worth to outer success. Instead, you live with the quiet knowing, "I am who I am. I am on a journey of transformation." True confidence doesn't come from being better than others. It comes from knowing yourself, caring for yourself, and realizing you don't need to become anyone else. This is the most solid foundation for real positive thinking, not a forced optimism, but a deep trust in the radiant nature of your own heart and mind. Dear friend, in the never-ending stream of life, perhaps the most precious gift we can offer ourselves is not a perfect life, but a soul that is steady, grounded, and radiant from within. Positive thinking in Buddhism is not something distant or mystical. It is a journey home back to the breath, to awareness, and to a deep, honest compassion for ourselves and others. When you learn to nurture wholesome thoughts, when you pause amidst the busyness to breathe, to listen, and to understand, then even the most ordinary moments become fertile ground for peace and transformation. No matter how the world outside changes, you can still walk through life with a gentle smile and a compassionate gaze, because within you, the seeds of positive thinking have begun to bloom. And if this journey has touched you in any way, whether it's a small insight, a soft inspiration, or a moment of stillness, then let's continue to cultivate these seeds of mindfulness and joy together, one day at a time. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Living Mindfully, your peaceful online sanctuary for mindful practices, soothing reflections, and daily wisdom to help you live more deeply and consciously. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And thank you for walking this mindful path with us. See you again in the next video. Breathing in, I know I am alive. Breathing out, I smile to life. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha _